Soccer is all about stories. At its core, soccer is built on stories. I don't know if the 2026 FIFA World Cup was the greatest World Cup of all time. A lot of people already ranked it among the top three tournaments ever. But for me, it was the World Cup I'd always dreamed of because it told the perfect story. On one side, you had Lamine Yamal playing in his very first World Cup. On the other, you had Lionel Messi playing in what was almost certainly his last. I just can't imagine Messi coming back to play another World Cup at 43 years old. Spain wasn't just chasing its second star. La Roja was also trying to complete a historic international double after winning UEFA Euro 2024. And they did it. Meanwhile, Messi was chasing back-to-back World Cup titles in what will almost certainly go down as the final World Cup of his legendary career at 39 years old. The reigning European champions versus the reigning world champions. Face to face. One final to decide who would stand alone at the top of world soccer. Most of us had never seen Spain and Argentina face each other in a World Cup, and we'd been waiting years for this moment. Fate saved it for the perfect occasion. A World Cup final between the nation with the most European Championship titles and the nation with the most Copa America titles in history. More than anything, it was a celebration of Hispanic pride. Seeing two Spanish-speaking nations face each other in a World Cup final is a once-in-a-lifetime moment. Yes, it was Europe versus South America, but it was also much more than that. This final belonged to the entire Spanish-speaking world. Having two Hispanic nations competing for soccer's biggest prize was something to be incredibly proud of. It was also a unique moment in history. Argentina reached the final after defeating England once again, a rivalry forever shaped by the political shadow of the Falklands War. Spain earned its place by overcoming its own footballing Goliath, France. These weren't just two finalists. They were the two greatest footballing giants the Spanish-speaking world has ever produced. The two greatest Spanish-speaking national teams in soccer history met in a World Cup final, and Spain came out on top. The poetic narrative behind this match was better than fiction. It was the ultimate clash between Spain's incredible defense, which conceded just one goal throughout the entire tournament, and Argentina's relentless attack, which scored 19. It was also a generational battle. Lionel Messi, one of the greatest players the game has ever seen, against the rise of Lamine Yamal. And there was an incredible layer of symbolism connecting them. Lamine came through La Masia, the very same academy that shaped Messi into a legend. Spain plays the same possession-based philosophy that the number 10 himself held perfect at Barcelona. In a way, it felt like Messi was staring into a mirror, a reflection of the footballing identity that made him who he became. Almost 20 years after that unforgettable real-life photograph where Messi helped baby Lamine during a charity photo shoot, soccer somehow brought them together again on its biggest stage. You simply couldn't make this up. The final also carried deep historical meaning and family ties. It was a meeting between two nations forever connected by migration. Argentinians have long referred to Spaniards as Gallego, a nickname rooted in history that reflects the millions of Argentinians with Spanish ancestry, while hundreds of thousands of Spaniards now call Argentina home. Even the stadium added another incredible layer to the story. MetLife Stadium in New Jersey was where Messi broke down in tears after losing the 2016 Copa America final before briefly retiring from international soccer. This time, though, he didn't get the redemption arc. At least not from my perspective. Argentina lost to Spain, and that painful chapter remained unfinished. Then there was the Finalissima. After years of postponements, fate decided that the battle for soccer's unified throne wouldn't be settled in a glorified exhibition match. Instead, it would be decided with the FIFA World Cup on the line. The story on the sidelines was just as fascinating. Lionel Scaloni's unbeaten run collided with Luis de la Fuente's unbeaten run. Two managers who took charge under enormous criticism and skepticism, yet somehow built two seemingly unstoppable footballing machines. And then there was one final twist. Back in 2017, Luis de la Fuente talked tactics and game systems during the Spanish Football Federation's UEFA Pro Coaching course. One of his students was Lionel Scaloni. Years later, the student found himself facing the teacher on soccer's biggest stage, as if the script couldn't get any better. And in my opinion, even the Ballon d'Or felt like he was on the line. This final could shape whether Messi strengthened his case for a record-extending ninth Ballon d'Or, or whether Lamine Yamal would completely rewrite soccer history by becoming the youngest Ballon d'Or winner ever. Now that Spain won and Argentina fell short, I'm honestly not sure whether Messi will win the Ballon d'Or. I still don't think it's impossible, but personally, I believe Lamine Yamal remains firmly in the conversation, even if this wasn't his best tournament. For me, this was the most narratively compelling World Cup final of the 21st century. This tournament was overflowing with unforgettable stories. There were simply too many to tell. But no matter what happens, I'll remember this World Cup for the rest of my life. Especially because Spain lifted the trophy. The anticipation surrounding this clash of titans was unbelievable. Everything about the 2026 World Cup felt connected. Every storyline, every rivalry, every coincidence. It all felt intertwined, almost as if it had been written long before the tournament even began. Lamine Yamal's first World Cup. Lionel Messi's last. As a soccer fan, I honestly couldn't have asked for a more unforgettable story. On a personal level, I honestly can't describe how happy I am. For me, this was the perfect World Cup. When I look back on this World Cup, it honestly feels like a dream. Everything fell perfectly into place. It was the perfect ending because Spain became world champions. Just like Spain brought Cristiano Ronaldo's World Cup journey to an end, they also defeated another legend in Lionel Messi to complete what, for me, was the perfect ending to an unforgettable tournament. I honestly can't put into words how much I enjoyed this World Cup. It was one of those tournaments that reminds you exactly why you fall in love with soccer in the first place.